All right, we're live.
Alrighty. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin. Rahmanir Rahim. Maliki Yawmiddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Ihdinas siratal mustaqim. Siratal ladzina an'amta 'alaihim. Ghayril maghdubi alaihim waladdallin. Ameen.
Man.
I mean,
Alhamdulillah. Assalamu alaikum, y'all. Welcome to Good Vibes of the Good Brothers.
Walaikum salam.
This your brother,
Salam.
for having me.
Jermaine Carey, aka Big Fresh. And I'm here with another episode. What episode is this, Malika?
21.
I'm pretty sure it's 20. All right. Episode 20 or 20. I'm pretty sure it's 20. Of Good Vibes with the Good Brothers. This is gonna be another dope conversation. We got two great artists, entrepreneurs, hustlers, making their waves on the internet. And he got a classic album. One of the best. Matter of fact, he was under a few classic albums, but we're gonna talk about that later. We got MissUndastood, see the OG for the sisters in this rap game, putting that work down. And so we had to get them together, and the Canada, they already acquainted with each other. They already putting the work. So alhamdulillah, man, this is awesome. Now, if somebody need to fix their audio or turn down the background.
So, first of all, can I introduce myself? Because you was just going to go ahead. So, welcome everybody. I'm Malika, the producer. Normally, I'm not on stage. I'm usually in the back, with my hoodie on and just chilling. But Jermaine done pulled me out here. I had to put on my good frames, my good earrings for this. So, alhamdulillah. Yeah, I'm just happy to be here with the good sister Vasha, who I miss dearly. I miss Brooklyn. Shout out to Brooklyn, even though she's from Queens.
Yeah.
Shout out to Brooklyn.
See, my cat needs to make an appearance. Everything we do around here, everybody needs to get seen and need their minutes of fame, their proper credit. So nobody shouted her out, so she had to come through. Know what I'm saying?
What's her name?
What's her name?
Elsa, that's my daughter's cat. So if she hear me say it's my cat, she's gonna come running in this room. It's my cat. So Elsa.
Alhamdulillah.
You said Elsa?
And too, do y'all think it's wrong I got the cat on a fast too?
No, I mean they got to get together too.
But how often does your cat eat? Like, don't they eat once a day anyway?
No, they just keep eating, going and snacking and keep going all day through the night when you sleep, and they be eating.
Oh, so well, they can eat through the night. It's good because we can too.
Doing 2 milk now. As for me and my household, we Muslim. So you either get with the program or you.
God.
So
you one of them.
Your Muslim cat gonna come in with a Christian black cat with a cross. Just keep playing with her.
Cause they tired. So alhamdulillah, why we at it? Why you was already at MissUndastood? Give us a introduction. Introduce us to yourself. Give us a little background of you and where you from and how you do what you do. And after that, we're gonna jump into my brother Ockz. We're gonna do the same thing. Introduce him. So we're gonna get deeper into the things when we start to questions, but I want y'all to, just describe yourselves and y'all movements, inshallah.
Well, peace and love, everyone. Assalamu alaikum, world. I'm MissUndastood. Government Tabasha, one of one. I've never met anyone named Tabasha in my whole entire life. I like to consider myself to be charismatic, courageous, very energetic, lively. Yeah, I'm a hip hop artist as well as a battle rapper, as well as a mother, as well as a daughter, a teacher, a student. Yeah. And I'm one of the first people. I want to say I'm the first female Muslima rapper, and definitely the originator of halal bars, which is like basically how I swag and put my words together when talking about our religion, Al-Islam. And when I was coming up, I didn't really see anybody else doing it at that time, so which is why I think that I'm the originator. of it. It was mostly male artists at that time. It was Native Dean and the Iron Triangle and, you know, Sammy Yusuf and them and 786 and whoever else. And I am the first. So I used to battle rap when I was in college. I'm the first female battle champion of my college at Borough Manhattan Community College. I used to battle rap with Papoose in the streets of Brooklyn. Um, as long as, you know, I've been doing it for so long, battling in the hoods. So it's not new. It's just something that I went into because I felt like the lane that I was in was starting to get a little crowded. So I wanted to swerve into another lane that I felt like I could be in that lane by myself. So I went back into battle rap. And yeah, I'm an educator, really strong belief in education. I recently, during the pandemic, got my master's degree. Um,
Ooh.
Thank you so much. Yeah,
Ooh.
it was a struggle to not have no graduation and no ceremony and be through Zoom and all of that. That was kind of corny. But I'm really happy, you know, and what I like to show women soon, I'm going to have a short film that's basically coming out. That's going to be, it's called Tabasha's Story. And it's going to basically say a little bit about my journey in terms of schooling and why I went back to school. And I think education is important. I want women to, Muslim women, to see me, look at me, be inspired, be motivated, be encouraged, really feel like I'm a voice for them, like a voice for the voiceless, because I talk about topics that don't nobody want to talk about. Um, I'm really fearless. I'm a sensitive dog, but you really can't tell when I rap. And
We can tell.
yeah, my master's degree that I got from Hunter College is a master's in science and education, but my when I don't have coffee, I operate a little different. My brain isn't quite there. My major, that's what I was looking for, the word major. My major is mental health, mental health counseling. So yeah, I need coffee and lots of it, lattes and all that, and espresso. But you know, I love being a mom. I'm a mom of an 11-year-old daughter. Definitely a blessing, you know, and I see why paradise lies at our feet. It's hard work and dedication. And I love being in a community. That's why this whole pandemic sucks. And not being able to really be at the masjid with people, socializing the way we socialize, having the ease that we used to having with live and everybody's out. And, you know, you can put your clothes on. Like, I'm not putting my cute clothes on for my living room. Like I get that, you know, some people are doing that. But I got outfits in the stash. I'm waiting for us to come outside. Waiting for us to come outside so that I could bring my little outfits I got when that I got on Umrah. I got some clothes when I went to Umrah in February 2020. That's the place to buy the outfits and clothes because they be overcharging y'all over here in these stores and stuff, and they get it from over there. So I got some outfits and yeah, that's about all I could say about myself. But right now, I know there's more. I know I'm missing more. I put a lot of work in. I've done a lot of performances and a lot of shows in different places. And
We're gonna jump into that though. We gonna refresh your memory.
a lot of colleges, I did some in the jails. I think I probably was the first Muslima to perform in the jails in Rikers for the men inmates and the women inmates. Like I've done so much. It's just gotta
we gonna jump into that. Can't wait till we gonna tap into your brain. You know, when my man introduced my man Ockz. You know what I'm saying? OG Ockz, big homie. Even though we about the same age, he jumped off the porch like a little bit before I did. Like a couple years. I was a good kid in a madrasa.
Yo, assalamu alaikum. I'm Ockz. It's a pleasure to be here. My story, I don't know, I ain't really used to doing these type of things. You know, I ain't really used to just sitting down talking about, yo, I did this and did that, you know, but I guess they consider me one of the pioneers of the Islamic hip hop Muslim rappers. You know, we've been doing this since like the 90s. I've been knowing Jermaine for you know, these 25 years probably. We got a long history. I'm from Brooklyn and Detroit. You know, I got a deep story. I came out of Detroit when I was maybe about 14 or 15, and I stayed out there for many years. Then I came back to New York. So I'm one of those guys that's blessed to have, you know, the best of both of those worlds. And you know, I guess that's good, and you know, it's some bad in that too. But I was blessed to have that. I was a guy who always had a talent with the bars, but I was kind of always caught up. So I was always there and was always kind of behind the scenes of all the major Islamic rap movements to date. You can't, if you name one, you know, we was a part of it. We was there. Whether it was the hip hop shop, I was smoking dudes at the hip hop shop back in, you know, back then, 94, 95. I was, you know what I mean? Things like I was doing that. We had the first Muslim record label, Jamaat Records. We supported a lot of dudes that you see now in the beginning, the flourishing part of their stages. Then you know, things was always kind of a graduation, and I was kind of always caught up, but was like known as one of the nicest dudes with the rapping. And then honestly, YG and Jermaine kind of pulled me back. I was like really far gone. This was maybe about 2010, 2011. They with the Young Ockz affiliated CIGM movement, and they kind of just pulled me back into the game. And to be honest, I jumped back in and we did Block Away, and I felt like Beanie Siegel smoked me. And I was like, that's the only person I ever felt like smoked me on the record. And I was really out of practice, and I felt I was out of shape. And that made me start to go back hard because I'm real competitive. And that birthed, you know, what we're going to talk about later, which is the halal Chinese food movement, which, you know, was labeled a classic and all that. The Muslim Illmatic, they said a lot of good things about it. It's a blessing. But other than that, you know, I was here. Thank Allah. You know what I'm saying? You know, I'm blessed to know everybody on the camera. I've had encounters with everybody on the camera. All of y'all are good, honorable people. So, you know, I'm happy to be here with y'all and glad that y'all have a guy like me in y'all space, you know?
It's our honor, big time. It's our honor. I'm gonna let you kick it off. You can go ahead and kick it off.
Oh Lord. Okay. Well, first of all, I feel like I should introduce myself too. Like, let me give myself my props. So, I know most people know me as in the background. For people who have been hosts, I'm usually in the background saying, "Listen, fix your camera. You got this much time." But my name is Malika. I am an actual filmmaker and producer. Born and raised here in Detroit. I've worked in television and film. I also currently work in corporate agency, which is a little different, but it's still creating videos for agencies, and it works for me. I'm also an independent filmmaker, so I released my first short in 2018 called Consternation. Inshallah, I have another short I'm going to film this summer, depending on how COVID and people act with COVID, how the governor does shutdowns and all that, because they're getting ready to shut Michigan down all over again. I also have a series that I wrote that actually I was picked to be part of Impact and Black House's screenwriting lab for Black Muslims. So that's dope. So yeah, I'm just a creative out here in these streets that a lot of people don't know about too much because I tend to stay in the house, but I'm working on that. So let's get this started. So for both of you guys being Black Muslim creatives, like that means that we all have to exist in multiple circles. We have to exist in multiple identities and balance them within ourselves. How do you balance that how do you balance being Black, Muslim, and an artist and still keep your authenticity?
I guess I'll go first. Well, I'm gonna be honest, like it's easy for me because we was always unapologetically Muslim. Like I was the street kid that we was outside and we'll beat you up about this Islam. So it was never really kind of a hard thing for me. You know, this was always my identity. I never was like searching for an identity, but because alhamdulillah, I was blessed to be born Muslim. And so I never really this was always my identity. I'm not saying anything about anybody who wasn't born Muslim. I'm just saying, like, for me, it was never a choice of how I'm gonna deal with it. Is you got to deal with it, because I was born with this name and I was born with this religion, and when I go outside, they better not tease me. So it was kind of easy to kind of graduate to where, you know, where I wear Islam like a badge, you know, an honor. Sometimes that could get misconstrued by some people who want to be judgmental or whatever. But at the end of the day, I always been proud to just be this. So it was kind of easy for me, you know.
Mm-hmm. MissUndastood, and she's back again.
I'm Afro-Latina, but we all know black is black and blackity black. So
blackity black.
But you know, I just feel like my responsibility really is to talk about those black social issues, the things that affect us, and those are, you know, that's what I like to make sure that I got some of that mixed in my music and in my material. So I'm going to talk about police brutality. We're going to talk about these gun violence. You know, the things that's plaguing our community, the issues that's affecting the drugs, the guns, the domestic violence, abuse, you know, all of those things that are, you know, because that apply to marginalized people of, you know, where we live or who we are. We have, you know, certain disadvantages, and I make sure that I'm sharing and talking on those topics in our music, very, you know, just trying to be as relevant as possible. And and whenever we get a chance to, we get a floor to speak, to be a representative, and to be, when we get a chance in a space that we make sure we talk against racism, talk against sexism, talk against all the other isms, right? So, I mean, I think that's what I try to do, because I'm black. So,
Can I say something to go with what she's saying? I really appreciate that about her artistry, because I'm so like closed off, and I don't really like say a lot in public. So her being boisterous, she does speak, you know, she speaks for the people. I can't say that, and I want to give her props with that. You know what I'm saying? I could say that because me being a guy who you know, like I respect how she speaks her mind.
And in the same time, though, there's so much going on. Like, because we know each other. I mean, we know each other very well. So as we got older, because alhamdulillah, man, from the stuff that we done been through together and seen, survived, cats we had to cut off because they weren't honorable cats. You know what I'm saying? Broke our hearts. As we older now, because I haven't wrote in like 10 years. So how the times, as far as the maturity that you grown as a man and seeing what you've seen and what you experienced, how is that impacting your pen? You know what I'm saying? Without being corny.
Well,
that corny part.
I'm gonna be honest. I think my pen kind of just always progressed, because, like, you know me, I've never really been satisfied with being dope. So I never just wrote a dope rhyme and was happy. So I always was trying to get better. So I think that was a natural progression. And I think my music always spoke for a side of me that people didn't actually get to see when they saw me. And, you know, when we interacted with each other, my pen always kind of spoke a deeper side of me. So I think it's just kind of, you know, graduated. As I graduated with levels, my pen just keep going. But that's still, I kind of think it's based off of just not being satisfied with being dope, or somebody telling you that they like your stuff. You know, like, I feel like that's something that a lot of people get caught up in, to where once they get recognition, they become satisfied with what they're doing. And, you know, I ain't like that. And I promote for people not to be like that. Keep pushing your craft. Keep pushing your craft.
to MissUndastood. Same question, but I want to touch on. I want to expand. I want you to expand a little bit more as far as the subject matter, because I'm gonna keep it 100. Keep it 100. Dude, I have never in my life been a fan of halal rap. Like I hate it. You know what I'm saying? I always felt that it was kind of like it was playing on some cat people that really didn't respect the art. Let's say that, right? And back in the day when everybody was so-called halal rap was going on, and some of the names that you named, they was naming always rhyming Dean and Srata Mustakino every bar. I'm like, man, y'all gotta miss me with that. And then I'm a cat that was out here on outside of the fence. I experienced a lot of stuff in my life, and everybody I knew was Muslim, and they was Muslim, and we was in some, you know what I'm saying, had some life experiences. I couldn't relate to halal rap, right? You know what I'm saying? So I want to hear your. Are you born Muslim? Were you born into Muslim parents? Okay.
No.
So I want to hear your perspective on what led you to.
I was Catholic before we converted.
Yeah, I definitely want to hear your perspective on what led you to that direction. And as an artist, I know for a fact you not what you do now was not what you were doing a long time. Shit, like you got more comfortable in just being an MC instead of being a halal rapper. So I want to hear that progression, and I want to understand like what led you. When did you realize? You know what? Especially when you get back in the battle game, I want to hear this progression, and I want you to touch on some of that too, because we got our stories is crazy. You know what I'm saying? And we really got to get this out there. But I want to hear your perspective on it.
I was involved in secular rap. In the hoods, rapping with certain crews from out of certain projects in Brooklyn, Tilden Projects, Van Dyke. Going to Sumner and different places, like always like rapping with certain dudes, right? And at one point I had a group with me and another girl. Her name was Flawless. She later on went to go get signed by G Unit. And I remember when she got signed and I didn't, I felt like, oh my God, like what is like why? Like why things is not happening for me? So I've been rapping for so long. And I was doing it the way that they wanted, which you talk about sex, with the profanity, with the drug talk, with everything, gun talk, all of that. And I still found myself like in a wheel because we weren't progressing, wasn't growing, right? But then one day, I seen what happened with Lauryn Hill. I seen the success of the miseducation of Lauryn Hill. And I said, I actually really don't have to rap this stuff. This lady got all these Grammys. She sold all these records from being her authentic self and from talking about not this stuff that I'm talking about and the stuff they want us to talk about, right? So then I decided, I said, you know what? I don't even want to rap like this no more. I want to do music like Common, like Mos Def, like Talib Kweli. And my management at the time, he was saying they didn't sell no records. They wasn't making no money. I said, well, they go and go. He said, go ain't no money. 500,000 units, that's nothing. I was like, well, it's not about all the money. And at that time, I had two managers, and then because my views were different, I had to split. And one, I had to get my own manager, and then my group mate, she got her own manager. So I had one person working with me, but they didn't really believe in the vision of what I wanted to do. I wanted to make a change, right? And I eventually just one day I went in the studio of Sharif Islam. He lived in Brooklyn. And he made beats and everything. And I started working with him and started, I seen the songs that we liked that weren't quote unquote Muslim songs. I said, I'm about to change these things. So Nas is my favorite MC. So, I heard got yourself a gun. I said, got yourself a Quran. I'm about to change this. Whatever the tracks were at that time. And my track Best Names, which is like really popular, that came from my first CD. I heard what Jay-Z was doing with that record, and I said, you know what, I'm about to change that. I'm about to flip it. And I started working on my stuff, and I didn't really care that at that time it was really like no back end. I don't even know if it was really a market for it. But I just said, listen, we about to do what we feel in our heart is the right thing to do. Because we've always had these conversations in Islam about music being haram. So music, instruments, the whole nine, wind, string, instruments, all this stuff. So I said, listen, If I'm talking about our religion, I'm talking about our deen, talking about the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, I'm talking about social issues that's relevant to our deen, things that's happening in marriages, I should be fine. I should be under the halal umbrella, and nobody really should be coming for my neck, and maybe I probably not gonna get in trouble with this sin, or I ain't gonna go to hell for this. So I decided to go that route, and it did good for some years, and then I don't know if I became like a has-been to people, or they was feeling like I was washed up, or they was tired of it, so then they didn't really quite support the way I would have thought they supported. So when I started seeing the lane, like I said before, getting crowded, I said, you know what, I'm gonna be back in my battle rap. I'm gonna go back in my battle rap lane. I had went to a Queen of the Ring event. Babs Bunny, for making the event, had invited me to the event, and I seen what was happening, because what happened was I did a freestyle. She came on my page, commented on the freestyle, and she liked it. And then from there, she invited me to an event. And when I went to the event, I said, Dag, I could do this, but they be talking about people's parents and people's kids, and I don't want all of that. And I spoke to Babs backstage and said, listen, I'm thinking about getting involved in this, but I don't know. People going to be talking about my mom. They're going to be talking about my kid. I don't know about all that. She said, well, hey, when you're ready, let me know. And I hit her up when I was ready. Like, I said to myself, like, hey, let me see what it is. Let me just go in. And I hit her up when I was ready. And then I had my first battle. It was a sparring session in Brooklyn that Sister Malika was present at. She came through to support. She was in the background. Look, Sister Malika was in the background, like, get up.
I'm literally on the video with my phone going, oh, I didn't even realize I was.
I think I saw that one. I was like, okay, that's when I became a fan. That's when I became a fan. I was like, okay, she in the
I was like, they look like
I love that.
Booty goons out there. I was feeling it.
I was
she was on their head too. I was like, oh, okay, yeah.
And I was, talking about, halal chicken and rice and all of that kind of stuff in the rap. But yeah, it started from one, right? And then it progressed, and then I did another one, and then I did another one, and then I did the movie. I battled in a movie. I don't know if y'all, the 40-year-old virgin, which is probably that has to be my biggest accomplishment to date. Being on Netflix, making in the movie, the 40-year-old virgin, being myself in the movie. I play myself, battling, and I wrote my own rhymes and whatnot. And so I seen that the battle rap lane was welcoming me, and it was allowing me to be a part of me. Is a bit fiery. There's a part of me that's fiery. So, and I do really good at putting words together lyrically, and like attacking, like getting on beats and like dismantling or attacking. So I've always been really good at like, writing and lyricism. So, it allows me to still be lyrical the same way I do with my music. So, I'm grateful for all the opportunities. I'm not where I feel like I should be or where I want to be, but I'm where Allah want me to be. That's the important thing. Allah, wherever I'm at, that's where Allah want me to be. I might want a blue check on Instagram, blue check on Twitter, but like my sister village auntie said yesterday, we need a blue check with Allah. We're already verified. So I'm already verified without.
Yeah.
I want to extend that question. I don't know if y'all watched the episode with Moore and Quadir. We got into it deep. So I want to know, where's the fine line between dope and corny in halal rap?
Okay. Can I say something? I want to say something here. Because y'all keep with this halal rap deal, right? And I've never and I'm not talking about halal bars, because that's the name of what she's her segment of what she's doing. Rap. So like I'm talking about this genre, this imaginary genre called halal rap, right? It is a no-go for me. And I'm gonna say why. Because music is music, and really I'm an artist for real, right? So either you dope or you not, and everybody's gonna have different subject matter, right? And there's gonna be Muslims, even Muslims that rap, that you're gonna have Ockz or a Beanie Siegel, and then you're gonna have a Most Def or a MissUndastood, right? You're gonna have these different parallels, and they all exist together, bro. It's not because it's still speaking about the experience, right? Because this is still the Black American of us being over here. This our experience, and this us dealing with Islam in our experience. And if hip hop is the CNN of the hood, then this is just that segment, right? Because when I'm reporting to you that I'm struggling because I'm out here wanting to get money, but I'm still going to the masjid, right? That don't make, and I tell you that if you piss me off, I might want to do something to you in a rap. That don't make it any less relevant or to the Muslim than somebody's talking about rhyming off, Shahada, I gotta do whatever, right? but so I don't think it's a line. I think corny is corny and dope is dope.
Yes.
And I think that you can have positive lyrics and be super dope.
Yes.
Because and then you can have some positive lyrics that sound super corny and super whack.
Right.
But you can also
like,
have some
intentional.
negative lyrics, like, because I done heard some guys that's Muslim rapping hard and it's corny, it's garbage, and they talking about everything, jihad, this and all of that, right? And it's whack. Let's just keep it real, right? And then I done heard brothers that's spitting hard and still touching you.
They know how to touch you. Yep.
So, and I like to call myself one of them. So I would think that
but
go ahead.
I gotta say I disagree with that. I mean, halal means good. It means permissible. Like as Muslims,
So then you going into a deeper thing now.
I love our brother Yasin Bey, Mr. Mos Def,
He don't do halal rap. He do his.
Forgive me, but when he made a Mrs. Fat
I have to go. 1 second.
When he made a Mrs. Fat Booty objectifying women in that way, is that the best thing for a Muslim man to do? Who's on Dean, he made a song about somebody booty. And then when we seen, the video, it was kind of like, you should, all right, Islam elevated women. Okay, so you're a Muslim man. I don't know. I just didn't think that fell in line. I'm gonna disagree because again, I'm about to be an artist and I've been in the streets and everybody is think about it. It is a difference between ones who's reaching. Let's say that's when the halal thing came in, that whole halal rap movement. It kind of was a reach to trying to target an audience that particularly was saying that, again, like you said, rap was haram, right? But again, as when you go back to being an artist is an artist. An artist is an artist regardless. Now you got people like, I ain't gonna say that. I'll be killing them all the time, but people that particularly would, that go and target just for the sake of, and sometimes you can feel the intentions. That'd be the main thing. You can feel the intention is not to really just to capture the audience as far as just create a platform for so-called halal. Sometimes the reach is to be cash in. So you can feel that. Sometimes the reach is to act like they're a level above somebody else. So
I'm sorry, I wanted to go catch MissUndastood's point that I missed.
Yeah, I was saying that Mos Def made that record, Mrs. Fat Booty, objectifying women, and I was just trying to figure out lyricism or lyrical or not, fire or not, or whatever it was, Islamically as a Muslim, was that the right thing to do? Like how?
Well, that's that. Now listen, me and this another thing we're gonna get off into while we have this conversation, and right. And when I say we, I mean just for everybody here and anybody that's watching. First and foremost, right? We can't be so judgmental, right? When we dealing with people, right? Because at the end of the day, we all got a reckoning with Allah. And when people express themselves, they expressing their personal things, their personal issues, their personal triumphs, their personal grievances, so on and so forth. And if we be so judgmental with our artists, then how does the art grow? And if Mos Def doesn't make a Miss Fat Booty, does MissUndastood get to make the opposite of Miss Fat Booty, right? So art is constantly feeding off each other, right? So it's like we all kind of exist hand in hand. And so when I say about halal rap, I don't know if that should be a title, because that still gets you off into something else. Because now you can have scholars who can say, well, rap is nothing halal about rap. You can have people that would want to say that. So it's like, instead of creating like blockades for ourselves, I think we should just be comfortable with existing being artists that are Muslim.
So let me cut in real quickly. Let me cut in.
While we back that up like Juvenile. All of that, like, I mean, that's
okay.
That's his art. I don't censor art. So,
okay. Everybody give me a second before I mute y'all all so I can talk. Okay. So first of all, I will say, I see what you're saying, Tavasha. I think Miss Fat Booty is the wrong example, because that song is actually about a woman playing them. That's what happened in the song. She played them. But here's the thing, when it comes to halal rap, right? There's multiple sides to that. You have people who coin like halal rap as a way to once again point at a Black art form and find another way to tell us that we're haram. But then you also had some people who actually had like children and were like, I want something for my children to listen to, so I'm gonna give them the native themes and the whatever. However, what's interesting within halal rap is that it's not sustainable, because most of the people like yourself or like Tyson or Native Dean who have been considered halal rap tend to transition because, and we've talked about this before, it's this idea of trying to stay in the masjid. And if you want to be an artist, you have to get out the masjid, because people and I know people gonna get mad about this. I really don't care. People who are in the masjid want you to create what they think they should hear, and they want you to stay in your small bubble, because as soon as you start to grow, and any of us who are creatives, like I'm in the film industry and I've had this issue. Like when I did Consternation is about a Muslim woman who gets pregnant out of wedlock. And some dude got on there with the whole soliloquy. And I'm like, dude, first of all, this is not real, it's narrative, but you're missing the whole point of this movie, that this woman is more concerned about what people will say than the fact that she's getting ready to have a child. And this is a physical thing that you need to worry about.
Or the fact that that's touching on somebody's story.
Exactly.
That is somebody's story.
And Muslims live real life like everybody else. Like we don't live in this utopia of Muslim fairy tale land floating on clouds and prayer rugs. Like it ain't real. Like
so while I'm not the person that necessarily hates halal rap, like if someone is dope, they're dope. Like I don't know if you remember the first time we actually met, Tavasha. It wasn't in New York, it was in Detroit when Nura brought you for Fash Bash, and that's when I think it was a Dean or Dunya mixtape came out, and you had the my Kemar brings all the brothers to the yard, and they're like, what's up with Niqab? And I'm like, you better get a job. Listen, that line right there, and that line right there would not be considered halal rap, because you call it account to a serious issue within the community, and it's that people expecting women to uphold certain standards and their mates not doing the same. That's not considered halal rap. Halal rap is alhamdulillah, I love my Kimar, something, right? Which is fine for my 5-year-old niece, but we have to also keep in mind that we are adults, and you shouldn't expect any artist to censor themselves because you can't give your child the foundation to decide whether or not they need to listen to it. Like, yeah, my parents didn't like me listening to rap, but I listened to it. However, the foundation was made for me to be able to not let certain things within life influence my decisions. Or if they did influence my decisions, I can't say I didn't know any better. I didn't know any better and I made that choice. But it wasn't because I was told hip hop was haram or I wasn't supposed to listen to this. It's because the foundation was laid that when my parents knew I was going to find a way to listen to somebody, but I wasn't getting so caught up in it that I just, when people are sheltered, as soon as they get a taste of anything, they just lose it because they've never. It's overstimulation.
Yeah, I want you to touch on this, and then I really want you to touch on this.
I want to ask a question. I'm not in disagreement with anything, but when she spoke about like rap for the children, right? Why does it have to be called halal rap instead of child-friendly rap? Because I got children and I'll let them listen to Native Dean, but I'll also let them listen to something else that's child-friendly if it's child-friendly and it's not telling them nothing that's going to take them off a course, right?
Right. So, I don't think halal rap was created with children in mind. I don't even know how the term halal rap got
coined.
It was alternative.
And Nene, Watch You Whip, is that child-friendly for you? And Watch Me Nene, like that?
I don't know, because
here's the thing.
Meanings behind stuff, and I'll be happy to get to the.
But see, here's the thing, though, like because we act like our parents weren't listening to music that was suggestive when we were younger. Rufus, Tell Me Something Good. What you think that's about? Afternoon Delight. What you think that's about? The Eyes Lead. Me and Mrs. Jones. It's about an affair. Earth, Wind, and Fire. Earth, Wind, and Fire. Reasons. Earth, Wind, and Fire. Reasons. It's about a one night stand.
You just made me think about something, right, Tafasha? When you said the whip and Nene, right? It made me think about I got sons, so now they ain't listening to whip and Nene. Then the same way they not listening to my Kemar Bring or the rap the Kemar because that ain't for boys, right? So we still going make sure that we put in front of our children exactly what they're supposed to have, right? Just like you're not gonna let your daughter listen to nothing that's promoting what boys supposed to do, even if it's Islamic.
It's built the foundation. Cardi B don't let her daughter listen to her music. That should tell you something.
And I want to say something too. I mean, I want both y'all to chime in on it. I've been a part of movements, right? And I ain't never been like my mama, born and raised Muslim don't mean that you separated from the world. Like I seen some gangster stuff at a real young age from Muslims, right? So so these narratives and I think sometimes the contrast or the blockage or something going with some people that was like born Muslim and seeing certain things and people that was probably converted and they got a different, because sometimes the conversion probably enhanced their life or saved them from certain stuff. And a lot of us born Muslim, even a lot of things we had to endure to being born Muslim and being in the streets, or seeing parents in the streets, are dealing with like Muslim. It is Muslim crackheads. Like this is real life, right? It's Muslim. It was a whole group. You know what I'm saying? That took so-called Islamic Western and made a gang out of it with the 5%. So it's like it's a lot of stuff that goes into being Muslim. So like somebody like most like whatever. I'm gonna go not get back on that, but I'm gonna say this: everybody got a story, and it seems like when it got down to like we know for a fact, like they go back to the point where they try to use hip hop against us and saying it's too black. So then how they gonna clean it up? They start introducing nasheeds. They start doing all this other stuff, right? Saying that's halal. Or they started making these corny raps and say, okay, this is the good halal. This ain't better than that black music, what they doing. But at the same time, a lot of this hip hop, a lot of people became Muslim because of hip hop, and I tell you this all the time. We've been out here in the world a long time. We done walk these blocks. How many shahadas have we give just being ourselves without being extra Muslim and all that stuff?
I mean, alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah, a lot of shahadas. But let you got me to wanting to touch on another aspect, right? Because see, what the real problem is, right, that it's us black folks doing something, right? Let's just keep it gangster, right? Let's keep it trill, right? It's because us black folks doing something and they want to compartmentalize everything we do. And the same people that's telling you something that's haram or that MissUndastood shouldn't be rapping with a hijab on, they ain't gonna give her no job at the gas station working the lottery machine selling the pork, right? So who is you to knock a hustle, right? when people trying to feed their families and do the right thing and stay out the street. And for a guy like me, I know the imams, the sheikhs, Imam Lukman, these guys was telling me, yo, you need to go to the studio and rap instead of doing the other things that you do.
Yeah.
Right?
What Imam Lukman said, y'all better go get that money. He said, go get that money.
Right. So at the end of the day, it's only because it's our thing and we black, right? Because one day when MissUndastood is the biggest hijabi rapper and Malika 313 is the biggest movie producer in the world, and you got the biggest podcast, and I got this, that, and the third, then everything gonna be all good. They're gonna want our money. Then
like they do
donate.
Yep.
That's how to donate, but they was trying to stop you from getting money, and they wouldn't give you no job.
You're right.
Because we know when we wasn't having nothing out here and we was having to try and figure out, we couldn't go to the gas station and say, give me a job. They'll be like, nah, Aki, no job. And they be
if they call you Aki.
Right. They say, are their question is you Muslim or not?
Right.
Do you know what your name means?
When we
Right.
I support
Fatiha. How many surahs you know?
And you still ain't gonna get no job. You could be a hacker.
Right. So yeah, I think a lot of it boils down to balance. There are songs that are for adults, and then there are songs that are not for adults. So yes, I may be in my earpods listening to Megan Thee Stallion with no problem, and my niece may be listening to Wilmore Siddiqui. And to keep it a buck, I'm gonna listen to Wilmore Siddiqui because the song still goes, right? But I think that there has to be a balance, and there's still the psychological piece of us seeing Black as haram. Like people become Muslim, unfortunately, and think they have to adopt Black people become Muslim. And if they're not in the correct environment, I think they have to adopt somebody else's culture, because our culture, we've been told our culture is haram until somebody else does it. Everybody's wearing a turban now. Everybody's a rapper.
To ourselves, though. We let people dictate. We let people dictate how we should be. So I want to go jump on that. I want MissUndastood. I want you. You say you're a convert. You come from Catholic. So you come from a certain extreme to jump into a religion that how you feel that basically gave you a balance in your life. Now I'm pretty sure when we go through these transitions, it's extremes in there. So explain how you went from one religion of Catholic to the Dean, and then because both of them kind of extreme when it comes down to music and stuff like that. Like, how did you find that? Get to a point of the confidence to find the balance within yourself, and then just know that you're gonna be a hijabi MC and stuff like and things like that.
Well, I didn't pay attention when I was Catholic. I didn't pay attention to how they feel about the rapping and stuff. I mean, you go to church, you have a seat. Nobody don't ask you nothing. They don't say anything. I mean, so people wasn't like, oh, I mean, maybe they didn't know what I was doing because I was more underground. But you go to church on Sunday, you have a seat. You get up, do your little offering, stand in line, get your little wine or bread or whatever, juice, whatever, and you go and have a seat back down and leave, and you do it again next Sunday. So nobody was really paying attention. In our communities, in these Muslim communities, people are paying attention to what you're doing and not doing, right? Because people are minding your business. Right. So people pay attention to how you dress. They know that if your jeans are too tight, if your hijab is not tight at your neck, they know if they seen you at a halal restaurant sitting with a guy, the Muslims are tuned in. Their business. So therefore, nosy. So when I was Catholic, nobody was in my business. They didn't care what I was doing. You be on the street, you have guys on the stoop with you talking, y'all be rapping, whatever. Nobody ain't gonna come by and say, aren't y'all Catholic, we sing y'all from the church. No, nobody says nothing. You just go ahead and mind your business. You sitting somewhere, so, but in Islam, people are, they tuned in. So you've got to watch how you moving, because there is going to be someone who's going to say something, and I deal with that now. People, when I, play around with my hijab and I style it differently, they be like, that wasn't hijab. Or they be like, the elders be like, I'm watching, I've been told that I'm the people that the Quran talk about clothed but naked. And I'm like, when y'all ever see me naked? I'm always modest, always present myself, never been uncovered. But they feel like when you're not dressed this certain way, that they probably may be used to seeing me all the time, or at the masjid or someone's janazah. If I get a little jazzy, the elders, people be pulling me aside. People say things to me. They be like, well, you know, you running that, you on that thin line. I hope you're not gonna go above, you know, I hope, you know what. And it's like, relax. I know what I did. I know exactly what I did. I decided to wear a turban. I didn't decide to. I had some earrings on. I had the turban. I didn't have my neck covered. Oh, I remember. You know what I'm saying? So, but y'all could, don't worry. We not gonna get Megan a stallion clothes or Cardi, but you know. So I've got to be. I've got to watch it because people be watching me. So I feel like them people who are a role model feel like a role model because people, I mean, I guess that comes with popularity too. When you're known in communities, imams know you, lots of Muslims know you. People are expecting, they have expectations. I mean,
But the thing about it, they don't live up to them expectations. So you just gotta be like, kick rocks. You know what I'm saying? So
really, they is failing in living up to
exactly.
the. It's not,
and it's jealousy too. It's jealousy because they see you. They see. Yep. They see you living like, because I deal with that too, right? And that's one of the reasons why I'm very supportive. I'm very supportive of Black Muslim period, but especially Black Muslim women, because the moment we decide to get fly, somebody got a problem. And a lot of times it's sisters. And I found that a lot of times it has to do with their own, you're projecting your own internal issues because you've been taught that you have to act this way in order to be a good Muslim. But because of the fact that I'm over here expressing my culture through my dress and still being blessed 24/7, now it's a problem. So this is why I make it that's why I make it a note that when people like, I'm the person on the post like, come on with the earrings, yes, like that's me.
No,
because
that's
I understand.
You know, not to cut you off, but that's another deeper topic. I'm sorry. I'm saying like that's a deeper topic because that's still more of people pushing their views off on our people. How you gonna tell our people how they supposed to dress, right? How you gonna tell women that is not from your culture that they not dressed right because they not dressed like you? That's some more of like
psychological thing, yeah.
But they women don't cover. They women don't cover at all. But
you know the counter to that
narrative.
Yeah, but the counter to that. Yeah, the counter to that is those of us who are comfortable within ourselves have to make sure that we're supporting each other. So it's like, if we know, and once again, me and Tavasha have talked about this, like I've told Tavasha herself, like, listen, don't worry about, people gonna talk, let them talk. I'm not concerned about people watching me and criticizing me. That's okay. Just make sure you say alhamdulillah, ameen, and get me some barakats at the end of it, right? What I'm more concerned is this generation coming after us that is seeing us, you know, and they're seeing that, okay, there's these Muslim women out here in the entertainment industry that look like me, that know my mama, and they're comfortable with it. And that's one of the things, like I talk with my accountability partner about posting. Like we were saying earlier, how I don't post that much on Instagram, but one of the reasons why I need to is because they're watching us. Like, and you don't realize it until someone says, yeah, you know, me and my daughter, we follow everything you do and we love it and keep on. It's just like, okay. And then I have to remember I know what it is to be a 13-year-old Muslim girl and really not see yourself in the media. Like you see some Black images and we got happy with certain things, you know, Spike Lee says every 10 years being Black is popular. And it's true. Social media has changed that a little bit, but every 10 years we have this spurt of Black creativity or Black content, which, you know, alhamdulillah, but there's still, outside of Malcolm X, Nation of Islam, somebody converted in jail. You didn't, excuse me, you didn't really see that much of yourself. So now you have a whole generation that has another generation to look up to and say, oh, yo, she Muslim and she out here at a show. She met this person and she doing this and I can do it too. So that's why I'm making a habit to support. Like people know I go hard for Tavasha because I understand being in this industry as a woman, as a Black woman, as a Black Muslim woman. Everyone's going to try to tell you what you should do because of the fact that we know that we along with our brothers, we create culture and we know the impact that we have on art. And so people feel like, oh, it's that more of the oppression of feeling like everybody is supposed to tell Black women what to do and everybody has access to their body and blah, blah, blah. So I really think it's really important that those of us who are comfortable in ourselves, we really have to be vocal in our support. You can't just text somebody and say that's dope. No, go on their page and blow them up, share their stuff, you know, talk about them like you do these other famous people who don't need your post because they already got a scabillion followers and all that. You see what I'm saying?
I want to touch on that too, though, and I want to touch on it because Ockz, we started many movements. Let's say that nobody know, and I'm gonna keep it 100,000% real. We started so many movements that we know we are seeing a lot of reciprocations of what's going on, the things that we started here in the DN and when it spread, especially when we did it. We had the when we first with Hip Hop Jamaat when we was kids. Then we had Jamaat Records when all of us was on there doing our thing. And then when we started CIGM, well, that was I ain't gonna for that one had nothing to do with music. Let's go. You know what I'm saying? But we started the music part, right? And the trend, we had the whole city that was not even Muslim rocking Crescent and Star. You know what I'm saying? And we made music for our peers, our people. Like we was really outside, right? So we couldn't do nothing. We couldn't talk about nothing that we wasn't doing because it wasn't our thing. But the thing about it, we see the transplant of different movements around the country going on from the things that I know for a fact. State property was doing it to a small extent, but they weren't repping the Dean like how we was repping the Dean, right? So to see now you got Tone Trump, you had Rollo doing this movement. You were part of both of the movements, right? You were part of both of them. So you played a part in the creation of heavy Dean in the streets, talking about Ockz in the streets. So we are our generation. I'm 40. You know, say we're 41. Our generation is a generation that said we ain't about to let these cats dictate how we Dean. You know what I'm saying? Because they weren't doing it the right way. If we was doing it the right way, we probably wouldn't been in the streets. So tell about how we created a generation. And then I want to also touch on why none of our generation in the masjid. So that's why did we escape to the streets, and why they had all these answers, then why none of our generation in the masjid, and why the elements of the street, what we created in the streets is bigger than the elements that none of them cats want to go to the masjid. No, I can't get nobody to the masjid.
It's kind of like a couple answers there. One, I think as far as the creating of movements, I've been blessed to be a part of a lot of movements, right? And I feel like Allah kind of always just had me on the pulse of things and kind of pushing it forward, right? And being a part of pushing it forward. And I feel like every one thing has kind of just been an extension of the next and kind of a graduation to where, because like when you look at a Rollo, that's like a YG on steroids. It's like, you see what I'm saying? So it's like, that these things come from a place, and we set examples that brothers and sisters grab and turn up, and we continue to push the culture forward. So yeah, I'm a part of all of these movements because it's always been about this Ockz thing for me. It's always been about that because that was always what we had. Right? It was always all we had was the brotherhood. It was a time where I could just show up at your crib and knock on the door. You just open the door and I walk in, take my shoes off and go lay down. What you got to eat? You got some Yemen's chicken. It was a lot of people didn't get to experience that because I don't think it's the Muslims that changed that. I think it's the system and how things kind of played out. Because if you look at after 2000, all of love just started to deteriorate and dissipate away from our communities. You know what I mean? Right. And then, we come from communities that was infiltrated by the federal government. Yes. We went through a lot. So I just think that when I see the movements, like being a part of the Muslim Dawn movement and Famgoon and, the CIGMs and these movements, it's like we constantly having our representation being pushed to the forefront, because at the end of the day, how you think all these people out here becoming Muslim, bro? Like, let's keep it real. You think that because they're not giving them no dawah in these stores. It's dudes in the hood who look like them, who talk like them, who going through the same struggle as them, except for he know Islam. And he telling him, look, we going through the same thing, but you know why you seem like I'm doing a little better than you, bro? Because I be going over here to the masjid and I be praying with the Ockz, you know what I'm saying? And they be showing me love. And and that love and that nourishment, that spread. So, you know, when people talk about these movements and why you think the police keep locking up these Muslim movements, right? And people that's in the entertainment business or people that speak out, because we actually are affecting the people, right? So that's why they want to have a guy like Rollo in prison, or, you know, or certain, or, you know, this is why they want to have these guys locked up, because these guys, you go down to Atlanta right now, and you're going to see little 13-year-old boys talking about they took Shahada on their own. Their parents ain't Muslim because they've been listening to Lil Rollo. So what Rollo might have heard in us or other brothers, right? He took, now it's little kids seeing that in him. So the movement kind of just keep pushing on. So anybody who know me know I don't preach no separation in between the Muslims. I ain't with it. You know what I'm saying? And I'm in full support of the male and female artists, no matter what they're doing, whether it's music, clothing, film, art, painting. Like, anybody will tell you, you know, that's where I put my heart at. So I hope that kind of answered what you.
I gave a good synopsis, a good understanding of where we at and where we came from. Misunderstood. I want to hear from a sister side. Like, is it a sister movement? Right? Is it a sister movement to the, as far as just the way that, because that, I mean, a lot of that stuff that we was doing, and I'm not gonna say that it was some of the best judgments, but sometimes we had to do what we had to do from our side, from where we come from, right? But from a sister side, it seems like sometimes judgment. I hate judgmental is one thing. It seems like the standard for sisters is always a little bit higher, right? Y'all can't make the mistakes that we make. So from a sister's perspective, is there a sister movement? And I mean, I see what's going on with, I love it from the black sisters. You already know I'm blackity black, blackity black, blackity black. But I want to know exactly, like, from the same standards as sisters making them waves that I'm missing out on. And like, are you a forefront of it and drop names of people that's in that movement with you?
Sisters have a movement outside of entertainment. Every masjid has a sisters group in there that's, you know, helping to put together iftars or organizing events where we, you know, spa days, or organizing trips to Great Muslim Day, a Great Adventure, or different things, or meeting together and having taleems. Almost every masjid probably has that, right? Especially the black masjids. And I'm a part of a group here or there at a masjid. And I wasn't really a part of a group called NEMWA, Northeast Muslim Women's Alliance. And then the members had started moving to different states. They were disbanded, and then one of our most influential members, Sister Amina Haq, Rahimahullah, she had passed. Mm-hmm. So then our group kind of just, you know, that group kind of just fell off, because when you have a matriarch, you have somebody as strong, you know, that dies, and then no one can step up and fill their shoes. It becomes hard sometimes to keep going. So we do have movements, and we have groups within our places of worship. Now, in entertainment, there is no group. If Sister Malika belongs to a group, I would love to hear about it, because my understanding is she does the Bilalian experience, she does her clothing, she does a lot of what she's doing on her own. She is her movement. Her movement is by herself. So the same thing for me. My movement is by myself. Us Muslim artists, women artists, we aren't together. We're all separately doing our thing, and you know that we're not. We don't have a fam goon or MDF or anything like that. And I think a lot of it really probably we're competing against each other. We're not really collaborating. It's not a collaboration over competition. It's really everybody's individually doing their own thing. And we might periodically, we might show love to each other or repost each other's stuff or be like, hey girl, I seen you that you did this, give a kind word or something. But we really should be together. Like we should have a union, create a union, all get together, and because we would go further together, than we are going like alone. We are on these paths alone, and we're each making strides in our path. Everybody is, has something that they're getting done, whether they're modeling or whether they are, getting murals put up for themselves, or whether they're whatever popularity it is. But we don't have that movement. And I think with women, women have attitudes, they have moods, we get periods, women get catty, and I think nobody really taught us. Maybe like the Nation of Islam women, knowing them, they probably have a movement. They are a movement, and they probably have a movement for all the things that they want to do. I'm sure that there's a committee for the bean pies that work together. One person soak the pies, one person probably soaking it, and the whole other person that's gonna put the labels on it, and whatever one is done, and the whole another person adds the sugar and stir it. I'm sure it's like that with them. And it's unfortunate where we are right now. And hopefully in the future, inshallah, we'll do better, because the brothers, we need to, the sisterhood, we need to really embody that. And we can learn something from the brothers who are doing it, who have these movements that have been doing it for a while. They sticking together, and they're deciding how to get money together, and we should be doing the same thing.
Yeah, I think we're getting there. I think the lack of like sister entertainment groups is it's a symptom of an issue that's in hip hop and entertainment itself. But like I think a lot of us like know each other and we just support each other. In terms of actual like groups, I think the closest thing may have been like maybe Hijabi Chronicles that Aaliyah Sharif did, the show she put on. You had the Love Project, which was Camila Shuaib and Saida Denise, which was a collaboration they did. So, but in terms of like just a group of like 9-10 sisters, like just together doing projects, it hasn't happened yet. And I think that I don't know. There's a lot of moving pieces when it comes to something like that. Like it's not that we all don't support each other. I think a lot of us are in our own little bubble. Like I have my group of artistic friends and we support each other, but we haven't come together and been like, okay, we're going to create. I take that back. I do know of a group of Muslim women, and if they don't promote it per se, but they decided like for a year they were going to promote each other and work with each other. And so, but it's not like a promoted like a CIGM or Halal Chinese or anything like that. It's just a group of sisters, Black Muslim sisters that got together to support each other. So, I don't know. I think it's interesting. Like when you even look at through the trajectory of hip hop and entertainment, what happens when Black women tend to come together, and how, unfortunately, things get in between and outside forces get in. But yeah, I'm with Tavasha. Inshallah, it'll happen. But like I know people are mentioning other stuff outside of entertainment, so like Sisters in Service, NYCD. So there have been organizations outside of entertainment, of course, but we're talking about in terms of entertainment groups for just like Black Muslim women.
And Dawa also, the entertainment and the Dawa.
Oh, I mean, well, Dawa, although there's
like a lot of times entertainment go hand in hand with Dawa from my experience.
If you're talking like people who are like, Atlanta has a few. There's one group, I think there's like the group that does Silk Nectar fashion show. There's another sisters group centered around food. They used to do like videos. Someone mentioned Sisters in Service. Tavasha, you guys have the traveling group, the Traveling Muslimas. So outside of entertainment industry, yes, Muslim women got groups and we out here. But in terms of just artistic, we not there yet. But there are definitely Muslim women who are groups. And they have been. Like I remember being younger and going to events organized for Muslim women for us to get together, eat together, talk, blah, blah, blah. So They exist. They exist.
So I'm like, we at the hour mark, and we normally we go about an hour and a half, 2 hours, so we got the midpoint of the show, and I want to ask, put the comment out there for the questions from the audience. For those attending, do they have any questions? Saying you can tag us and let us know. Then Malika will post it up. Also, I want to shout out our sponsors, Brownages, which was founded by Imam Rashid Makti. Don't like to be called Imam, but Imam Rashid Makti and his wife Intisar Bashir. They started Brownages and it became a worldwide phenomenon. Had people sharing their product from Lupita to Beyonce to some of everybody. And they, alhamdulillah, they got their information down below. Brownages, you can't put a band-aid on 100 years of racism. Brownages is for us, by us, it's ours, and it specifically was made with our people in mind. So you got to make sure you shout out them, support them, even if you don't fall down and hurt yourself often. Know you got it available in your house, and when you do fall down, you ain't got no pink-looking bandages on your skin. You're gonna have to look like yourself. You know what I'm saying? So shout them out, look them up on Instagram at Brownages, and look them up on Facebook. I'm not sure they're on Twitter, but they're definitely on Instagram and Facebook. And also, we got to shout out our designer, our web designer, our promo designer, Design Pro Web Solutions. My man, Ashir Kirk, he is the founder of it, and he got a team of that specialize in making websites, creating dope logos, creating dope trademarks. He get it popping, you know what I'm saying? And he's definitely the best. And then when I get my stuff done and jump into the field, I'm definitely have them designing my stuff. So look up Design Pro Web Solutions on at Design Pro Web Solutions on Instagram and Facebook. Black owned again, for us, by us, and they're gonna take care of us. So they're gonna look out for you. Tell them Brother Jermaine sent you. You can follow our guests on social media at Ockz at OCKZ. Look up his movement. He got the movement pop. He about to drop a dope album. We're gonna jump into some of his other works we got a little bit later on, and also we're gonna jump into. Make sure you follow MissUndastood at MissUndastood NYC, and she got her movement popping. She a movement by herself, and she a force when we together.
You're making me.
So we gonna make that popping, man. But if you want to be a sponsor, shout us out. Email us at my website. We ain't got a website. Email us at goodbrothers at gmail.com. You want to be a sponsor? We got great affordable sponsorship packages. And if you want to donate and help the movement, look at the links below. Anything help, $1. We like the things that jiggle, we prefer the things that fold. So go ahead with that. Back to you again. Anybody got any questions for in the audience for our panel? Please post it. We got a question from Imam Rashid Makti out of he's the greater Imam of Greater Ohio. I'm curious to know the opinion of the panel of what point does art form cross over from being too much, or is it all good? Is all art good art?
So I'm going to start off by saying I think that art form is too much when it's contributing to problems in our society. So if the music contributes to recidivism or like youth and people getting incarcerated, I'm going to think that the music is too much. If your music say you on demon time and then now they cause everybody to go out and do something crazy and now everyone is getting locked up and in prison, then I'm going to say it's too much because it's contributing to, and we all know that mass incarceration is a big deal. So if it contributes to that, I'm going to say it's too much. If it contributes to drug use, which may result in an overdose, which may result in families being broken up and, children being left without parents because, they was getting high because you made it cool for people to all the time just, get high, I'm going to say it's too much. I don't know if it's true that DMX really overdosed, but I blame the industry if they did, because the industry, they like to co-sign that type of behavior. Is they are constantly co-signing being on lean and perps, and we drinking syrup and we getting lit, and we, so I feel like music, a lot of the music now to me is too much. That's why I listen to a lot of R&B when I get a chance, and the hip hop people that I'm listening to, is really, I don't be up on a lot of the new stuff. I'm really still stuck on old rap. I'll listen to Heavy D before I listen to whoever is the newest person coming. I'll go and find old Salt and Pepper, Father MC if I have to. You're not gonna get me Positive K. I don't know, someone else, but I will not listen to this new stuff, because the new wave, I feel like it. I don't think all. I mean, Ox is probably gonna say all art is good art or whatever, but me, I ain't with it. If it's going to contribute to women, if it's going to contribute to more children being born out of wedlock, if it's going to contribute to rape culture, if it's going to contribute to all of that, then unwanted pregnancies and stuff, I'm not going to say that. I think that the sexual music that's over sexualized is contributing to some of those things, and therefore I'm not going to think I support it. Even if I listen to it once or twice, if you're in a car with somebody, it's going to come on the radio. You ain't got no choice. You stuck listening to it. You start vibing or whatever. But I mean, so to me, when it does that, then it's too much.
Oh, shucks. She said I was gonna say something I wasn't gonna say. But listen, I think that art is an expression. So just like you can have good expression, you can have bad expression. Now as far as something being too much, I think that's subjective, because what may be too much for one may be too much for others. Like Tavasha spoke of listening to R&B music, but there's some single people out there that can't listen to that R&B music without having a problem. You know what I'm saying? So I think all of that's subjective. But the question was, is all art good? No, I wouldn't think all art is good, because all art is an expression, and you can have good expressions and you can have bad expressions.
But when is it too much, though, Ox?
I told you too much is subjective to the person, right? Because what may be too much for others may be not enough for some, right? So I think that's subjective to that individual. So that's a big part of everybody being able to have an opinion that can be heard by the masses, right? Something may be like not enough for one person, it may be too much for another person. They both get to give their opinion, and they're both speaking their opinion as if it's a fact. But none of our opinions are facts. Our opinions are only our opinions. So, it's the problem is people are passing off opinions as facts.
As fact, like it's exactly. But I want
mass incarceration isn't an issue.
I want to touch on that. Hold on, I want to touch on that though, and I want you to answer this question.
Mass incarceration, of course, mass incarceration is an issue. I just got out of prison.
But the thing about it is that The thing about it is that when do we start understand it's also a viewpoint how we look at things. Is an art imitating life, a life imitating art? Like I have everything that I'm saying. We got to think of it in that way. I'm not influenced by nobody I listen to ever. You know what I'm saying? Like, can't nobody tell me I'm about to go drink some lean because it's cool to drink lean. I'm looking at you as a dope fiend. You know what I'm saying? That's how I view. That's my opinion. But I also know a lot of times when people going back to the DMX thing, once you become addicted to something, the hardest thing in the world is to cut that addiction. And if you want and people really, that's one thing of sometimes with Muslims, sometimes this condemning mentality this condemning mentality that we have, that we don't really understand what's going on outside in the world, especially dealing with reality of these issues. Like I never met a child that grew up saying I'm about to drink some, I'm about to be a dope fiend. I never met one in my life. You know what I'm saying? I never seen nobody that jumped into crime as a kid and said I'm about to be a criminal. a lot of these things, is them talking about their life. So are we judging people on the life that are they living, or are we judging it? Are we judging it on the basis of seeing them as examples that a lot of us is not really able to live up to or want to live up to? Okay, you can touch on that, Misunderstood.
Oh, I don't have anything to say about that.
Okay, then I'll talk. I'll talk as an artist, like art form. So first of all, art is very broad, even though I know primarily we're music artists here. I'm not. I'm in the visual arts, the television, all that jazz. But art itself is subjective and it's very broad. And there's a lot that goes into it. There's intention with the art. There's, story you're trying to tell with the art. So, I kind of believe with Ockz when you say that, it is subjective, like how far is too far. Like the big discussion now in terms of like within television and film is like trauma porn. And the question is now, how much is too much? Like with the new show, Them, I've chosen not to watch it because I just don't want to see those visuals anymore. But there's a scene in like one of the earlier episodes where the Black woman is sexually assaulted while watching her child get murdered. And it's like, we know that things like that even though that's made up, the extremity of situations like that happened here, but I don't need to see it anymore, right? Now, that does not mean that there are other people that may need to realize those things happen, but me, Malika, I'm good, right? So, but then on the flip side, there's this discussion around like early Vine and how a lot of Black Vine creators were basically doing black faces of themselves. And their biggest, their audience were young white folks. And so now young white folks are seeing this and thinking, oh, that's what Black people does. So is that going too far? Which at that point, I think they did go too far. But it is subjective when you're talking about art and you're talking about who. Like, it's a very general question because it becomes like going too far for who. What are the impacts? What impact or what repercussion did this particular art form have to deem it as going too far? Like, there were people who thought the film Sankofa by Haley Jarama that came out in the 70s or so, some people felt that went too far, and it really didn't. But because of the fact it showed a sliver of the horrors of slavery, people felt it went too far. When you have
Uncle Tom's Revenge?
No, there's a film called Sankofa though, which it's the story of a Black woman who's a model who she's transported back to slavery. Yes. Oh, and God. There are some people who feel like stuff like that is too much, or they feel like, what is too much is subjective. But the question is, where is that coming from? Do you feel it's too much because of the influence that's having? And then the question becomes, then what are you teaching your own children to combat the images that they're seeing? Because they're going to see, like, this is social media. Everyone's got a television in their hand 24/7. Like, I actually remember, I don't remember when American television went off, but I remember when Canadian TV went off. They played the Canadian national anthem and then just lights out. Now we have a 24/7 cycle of information constantly inundating everyone. So to decide when is something too much, I don't know. It's really difficult to answer that question, and it is something.
Question too.
I agree with you. I think it's super difficult to answer that question, and I think it is subjective because certain things be too much for me. Like personally, I don't like slave movies, right? Amistad, I ain't never watched it. Rosewood, I ain't never watched it. I don't like slave movies. I hate them. And in my personal opinion, I'd rather my kid watch Scarface than a slave movie. I believe them slave movies messing up these kids worse than any of these street movies ever could, right? Because the slave movie is actually showing your kids to accept what these people doing to you. And not to say that the other movies are good. I don't want to give off that impression. But I'm just saying, like, so I totally agree with what you're saying as far as it being subjective because it's so much horrible things that I could watch, but I can't stand to watch slavery.
Right. Also, I want to we got this. This is a good question too, and I think we should touch on quickly. Part of this propaganda thing, I personally kind of agree and disagree on it because I know And I also got to go into people's people that probably lived a certain life and seen certain things as a young and ain't gonna really relate to a person that's been boxed in their whole life. So it's always gonna be, and it's our person that's probably trying to escape certain stuff. So we all, it's not gonna be a certain type of lens and view. If you a person that really never experienced some type of things that average kid that been off the porch since they was 10, 11 years old, you're not gonna you're not gonna be able to have the same type of opinion as somebody, you know what I'm saying, who has. So the things that can be uncomfortable for you can be normal to them. We got to take into that account. And also, again, with the drugs and all that, these drugs, they was doing drugs and all this stuff way before rap. Way before rap get way too much credit for the foolishness going on when they was doing that. Your uncle or your daddy was riding around in his Continental, listening to the Isleys, snorting coke. You know what I'm saying? Doing all type of foolishness. So way before rap. So hip hop get a lot of unwarranted blame and for a lot of bull crap. But that went way before us. And again, the question from the brother Mansour, as music is used as a propaganda to destroy our communities, what advice do you have for up and coming artists from community intended to help counter those effects? Yeah, I don't agree with that, but y'all can go ahead and.
Well, I'm gonna be honest with you, right? It's not the artists.
Yeah, it's
the people, and when I say that, I mean that from the bottom of my heart, right? If you promote the positive people the way you promote the negative people,
exactly,
the positive people will be on top.
Exactly.
Right. But if you promote the negativity and then talk about you don't want this not right, that's not right, but you promoting it. You talking about it. You saying this is constantly on your tongue. These people, the negative people. You're not talking to your kids about the positive, dope artists that you like. When something happens with an artist, you don't talk about how this other artist who's doing something positive. No, you be tuned into social media right along with your kids, looking at the shade room, commenting and doing everything else the same way the kids are. So it's not the artists that can reverse the effects. It's the people that can reverse the effects by putting the spotlight on the positive artists and not the negative ones. Because
people don't want to take responsibility for their own actions, bro.
Right. It's the people who feed the artists. So these negative artists or people who we deem negative will not be on top if the people didn't put them there. Especially in the social media age, the labels don't run nothing. Like y'all can, if anybody sign a label, they're a fool. The labels don't run nothing. The streets running everything, and the way these likes and shares. Let's look at this. The numbers on this podcast is a positive podcast. I guarantee you, if I was talking about the most juiciest of juicy, we would have 1 billion views. You know what I'm saying? That happens all the time. I see it and I get frustrated with it. But at the same time, I want to be an avenue we can have a positive dialogue and talk about real stuff without being going to the extreme. But you give a short answer on it also, MissUndastood.
I mean, my advice to those upcoming artists is just really to be yourself, you know, be genuine, live in your authenticity, and just be unapologetically yourself. And people will catch on or they won't. And, you know, it's a market for everybody. It's a lane for everybody, more than enough money out here for everybody. So then you shouldn't fall into, oh, this is what I have to do because it's popular and this is what's going to get me followers. This is what's going to get me views and likes. Listen, somebody somewhere is going to appreciate your artistry, and you just do it, do it for yourself and do it for those people, for those people. And sometimes you just never know. You just may win at being yourself, or authentic, and not following all of the sheep. You just may win just like that. So
I want to ask you another question too. We're about to close out, but I want to ask you another question. Like you consider yourself a positive artist, right? You do positive music, right? MissUndastood, right?
I mean, I'm a mix. I like to consider myself an artist
in general
who's more positive than I am negative. The same way, like in myself, I'll say I know I have flaws. I'll say my good outweighs my bad. So I know that from time to time there might be a topic that I may talk on that may, ruffle feathers, and it may be considered not positive, like child support. When I talk about child support, that ruffles a lot of feathers. A lot of men get upset, really, but at the same token, um, you know, you'll hear me talk about, other stuff too, other topics.
So,
So
man, the question I was asking is that you say like there's no real sister movement. You do a lot of positive. Your image is more so positive than negative, right? And even from all these Muslims that's online and looking at all this stuff that be going, all this judgment, they do not support. And one of the ways to stay broke, and I understand, is to try to consistently target certain type of Muslims to please certain type of people, right? I'm gonna keep it all the way real. So, and look at you. You've been in the game forever, right? And all these people that tell you that this type of artist haram, this and that. Look what. Why don't these people support you the way that we got support when we was talking about certain stuff? Like when we, and the thing about it, anybody who never done art, they don't know what they're talking about. If you're a real artist, you're gonna talk about what you experience. That's what real artists do, or what they going through. That's a real artist. They ain't know, and so the brother said, but it's glorify that too much. Sometimes it's not glorified. A lot of times, like a person who's been in jail before. A lot of times people like to talk about what they've been going through. They pen sometimes is that release. That and if you try to bottle up your expression, sometimes you're not paying justice to yourself. Because your pen is your release, your pen is your therapist, especially in the Black community where therapy is a stigma of a negative stigma. And you're a therapist at that. So
music is therapy. It is.
I want both of y'all to touch on that.
Yeah, my music is my therapy. A lot of times, my music stopped me from, lashing out physically to people, because I know that I got a pen. I know my pen is as deadly as hands and a gun. So when I'm able to, I transform it. I transform it. I turn the negative into a positive, because it would be negative to go and engage in a physical altercation with someone because they upset me or because of whatever, right? So then I just go and I put my artistry into my pen, my feelings and stuff. And some people respect it, some people don't. It's cool.
I wanted y'all to touch on this because
Can I
please, I want them to touch on it. This Nas holier than thou thing is be killing me.
What y'all
and I love Nas Esco era, but please.
I'm from so what we're not
gonna hate on Nas.
We're not gonna talk about Nas.
No, but we're not about to put Nas on this level of he just is an angel. Nas got some gangster stuff too. Real gangster stuff.
I'm kind of confused on like Nas and Angel and all this.
No one's ever said that.
I'm not saying, I'm just a little confused about that. I see the question.
Jermaine is just a Nas hater. That's all.
I'm a Nas. I'm rocking a Nas shirt. I'm a Nas lover. Nas is my top 3 forever. Everybody know that.
You know how I feel about
Nas. Don't make me come to Detroit.
Everybody know my top 3. My top 3, J, Pac, and Nas. It would never end outside of them 3. That's mine forever.
Okay, brother, go ahead.
So now, go ahead, Ockz.
Is there a difference between Nas and Jadakiss? You can speak about something without glorifying. So at what point is too much?
Listen,
and I have a response to that too.
When you say, there's a difference between Nas and Jadakiss. Nas and Jadakiss, they're 2 different people.
2 different lives.
At the end of the day, it's easy to target the artist because the artist is the courageous one that's giving you their inner spill, right? Like they're telling you their deep thoughts, right? The artist. And it's easy to talk about them because they were courageous enough to stand up and tell you what they were feeling and what they were thinking. Now, it's harder for the person who's so judgmental or the person who's viewing the artist. It would be harder for them to stand up and subject themselves to the same scrutiny. in my opinion. So when we try to like be judgmental of people, or when we view people and we make them a topic of our conversation, you know, like certain people I'm not gonna talk about. Like what's the little guy, the little devil worshiping guy? I don't even talk about him.
Well, I don't even share none of his stuff, right?
So he's not even on my radar. But like a Nas or a Jadakiss, of course they're on my radar. They're people that I listen to, and so I'm gonna take both of what they're giving me, and I'm gonna get what they got to give, because both of them are two different individuals with a viewpoint. And what I think a lot of people don't understand about our situation is hip hop kind of raised a lot of us. Because my father died in prison. I don't know about anybody else's situation.
My father died when I was in jail too.
You know, we got a lot of game. You know, we learned how to dress. We learned how to, you know, what real money was. You know, we thought $5,000 was some real money until Jay-Z started talking about $25 million.
It was a game, yep.
So we actually leveled up through these artists subjecting themselves to our opinion. So we actually should kind of thank them for allowing us to be able to have an opinion on their life. Because if they didn't give it to us, we wouldn't have it, and life would be a lot more boring. That's just my.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, because the question was about glorifying, and I know, Jermaine, you had your feelings about propaganda, but I think a lot of times we as artists, we just look at the creative, abstract, I'm just creating, but art is also a business, right? And hip hop is a billion-dollar business. And so while, yes, the streets create and move the culture, there are still other forces outside of that are still making money. There's, as a clip I saw of Chameleonaire, who he was talking about, after he had his first hit, he linked up with like Jay-Z's accountant or Jay-Z's guy, whatever, to do his taxes. And the guy did an audit for him. And he found $600,000 that the record company was keeping from him. So Chameleonaire went back and said, I want it out of the contract. And they said no. And so he said, either you let me out of my contract or I'm going to tell all your artists to do audits. And they let him out the contract. So when I think we talk about glorification, we have to understand that hip hop started as Black and brown people talking about what was going on in their lives, what was going on in their community. And hip hop was seen as something that was going to die. People were like, this is not going to work. This ain't going to be sustainable. But we know Black folks, when we come up with something, it keeps going. So what has happened is that a lot of people, unfortunately, many of us are not business savvy. So someone comes flashing in advance, here's $100,000 in advance. We don't understand that advance is a loan and you got to pay that back. And they're going to take that money and before you get anything. And there's a business side to it that we don't know. And they capitalize off of many of us not knowing the business side. So now with social media, what has happened is that people have figured out, you know what? The labels they're robbing us. We can do this ourselves. Here they come again. You want to get your music out. How you getting it out? Spotify, iTunes, Tidal's a thing anymore. I don't know. Spotify pays a fraction of a penny for views. To make money, you got to do Drake numbers. Like I think they said Pharrell's Happy, he didn't even get $1 million, and it was the biggest song of the year, and he didn't even get $1 million from Spotify. So once again, there is constantly this way to capitalize off of our art, and that's where the propaganda comes in, because Royce just posted a video where he says we're being hired to kill ourselves, right? And it's true, because of the fact that we're so immersed in the culture and expressing ourselves that we don't have those other people to handle the business side to protect us. And so whether you have a label or not, distribution is still the big thing. Even though people aren't really buying CDs anymore, people are still streaming. So it's like, okay, you don't just put it on Spotify and it's there tomorrow. It's a process. It's got to be accepted. You got to have artwork. You got to have bio. You have to have all these things. So that's where the propaganda comes in, because you have these other entities that know you only getting. It's not you can't fault people who don't know, because in all honesty, it's not like Jay-Z is out here really giving y'all the game. It's not like maybe the only person that
more than he is.
The one person I say who like truly giving game is Dame Dash, and people criticize him all the time. Dame Dash be giving game, and people don't want to listen to him.
I agree with you on that, and I want to just add something to what you're saying.
Another judgmental question, y'all. So
as far as just real quick. Okay, so these streaming services. None of us were in the room when they decided how much they were going to pay these artists. We don't know who was in the room when they made up this. You get 1/3 of a penny per stream, right? But now, if I drop my album tomorrow, this is the question I gotta ask. If I drop my album on my site and I don't put it on any streaming platforms, and I put it on my site,
who gonna go on there, right?
Will they go directly to me and buy it? Or will they go to the convenience of Spotify? And if they will, then how revolutionary are these people with these opinions about the culture? And I'm not speaking about anyone in particular more than I'm speaking about the whole, and because I feel like the culture of hip hop is so opinionated that we always lose out on the bottom line.
Yep.
Right? Mm-hmm. Like we always, like you speaking about, the not getting the real game, the getting pennies on the fractions of pennies.
Fraction. For a play.
But if I drop this record tomorrow, will the people put a little extra work to go download it directly from me, no middleman? See,
and then when they come to your show, because that's where the money is showing.
Exactly.
But then that's where the 360 bull crap. Whoop. That's
again, I'm gonna talk from experience, and Doc, as a person who owned a label, was a partner, had a business partner. We distributed our music ourselves. We were selling out at tapes all over the place, right? We was pumping our trunk of our car. We were doing all that, right? A lot of that hustle came from Jay Prince's. It came from Jay-Z and Damon Dash, and it came from Master P, particularly like me and my man Y. We've been all night. You know what I'm saying? But we put that work in, right? And so again, it goes down to people who always got these opinions. The people who always got these opinions, they never are the supporters. I'm gonna keep it 100%. They don't like. It's no reason why if MissUndastood got all this support and she putting out this music that these people that got all these opinions they like, why is she not a millionaire? Why is she not a millionaire why does she have to go to feel more comfortable in the so-called secular world to get her out there if y'all supporting like that? You're not supporting like that. You know what I'm saying? If people are bringing you certain type of influence and certain type of a positive note, even a more balanced note, why do we got to depend on them? Like if Charlamagne the God came up to me, like, I like your podcast, bro. I want you to be on my platform. I have to give you blase split. You think I'm gonna listen to him? I hope somebody else better will come through. You know what I'm saying? But
yeah, we got to talk about that because there's some business.
If somebody else
concerns.
I'm gonna listen to him, but at the same time, I know for a fact the people that I'm trying to get to, they not supporting me like that. I know they not. I know for a fact.
Well, that's the thing. That's another thing, right? That's another thing that I've been learning and trying to express to people that I work with. Listen, we ain't get in the game to impress our friends.
Talk about it.
So I don't care if my friends ain't supporting me. I didn't do this for you. I did this to reach the people, the masses, right? So my goal is to try to pick up a new person. I already knew you, Jermaine. If you listen to the album, I'm happy, right? I know you're going to listen to the album, and I'm going to be happy about that. But I want to get this person that I never met, they never heard of me. I want to get them and make them like me. And then the next person, and the next person, and the next person, because these are the people that are going to be able to appreciate you. The people who know you, a lot of times, they can't really get past what they think you're supposed to be or the vision that they saw for you. Yep. You know what I'm saying? Like, nobody know. It was a time you told me, listen, I'm done with certain things. And I looked at you like, yeah, whatever, dog. And I mean, just honestly, because I had a different vision of what your life was supposed to be. Because that's how we do. We project our visions onto other people. You know what I'm saying? That's just kind of our way. So, but look, you did what was best for you, and look at the results you're getting from doing what's right and doing what's best for you, doing what's positive. So, I mean, when it comes to like MissUndastood, I always tell her she's super dope.
Yep.
Stay grinding. We ain't caring about what nobody ain't liking. We ain't caring about who got something to say. We ain't caring about little opinions, because for what? What their opinion don't really mean nothing. We gonna keep the artistry. It's all about the art. It's all about pushing your art form to the next level. I tell all artists that. I tell myself that every day. You know me, Jermaine. When I speak like this, you know that's coming from a place that I hold myself to a high standard when it comes to what we doing. You know what I'm saying?
Alhamdulillah. And now we got 10 minutes left, so I mean we want to wrap up. I know it's an epic, powerful conversation. I wish again it can get to the masses, and I want people that's watching. Again, we need your support. Tag somebody. Put up. These are two important artists to our movement. Two important artists to our. Matter of fact, everybody on this conversation is extremely important to the movement of our generation, not just our era, our whole generation. Born and raised Muslim, new converts, long-time converts, the 20, you know what I'm saying, from born in the 80s babies, you know what I'm saying, the older millennials and younger generation X cats, excuse me. Wow. But this is important for us. And so that's why I do this, right? I do this because I grew up and seeing what a lot of our people had when we, especially being born Muslim, had to go through, as far as a lot of our Muslims was going through inferiority complexes, thinking that being dressing like a Bengali or being an Arab is important, more important than being just regular Jermaine on the deen. You know what I'm saying? The extremes of brothers boarding up their windows and not allowing their women to go outside, basically turning the deen into a cult. I want to know parts of that. You know what I'm saying? I ain't want no parts of that. And so when I saw that made me want to lead the deen. So I imagine and I see what our little Ockz, we already know, we see the movements that the little Ockz, they trying to emulate some of the things that we was doing, because they still was going through the same thing. So we are
be there with them to help guide them.
Exactly. And alhamdulillah, that's why we here. So why me, Ockz, we enhanced our life. I ain't gonna say changed our life. We enhanced our life to make better decisions for those up under us. So we do have that responsibility. I know for a fact. So I was saying all that. Help these movements. Don't just talk about it. If you want positive content out there, or whatever you deem is positive content, stop like these. Let's see. It's no way in the world Dean Squad supposed to blow up where they blew up, and the sister MissUndastood ain't blew up the same way. No reason.
Talk on it. Sexism.
You know
we have sexism in Islam, and we have racism in Islam, because they're very dope, but they're men.
Are they? They're not even a group anymore. So
people feel like women, like myself, we shouldn't be this vocal. We shouldn't be on the stage. We shouldn't be talking. We talk too loud. We need to be in the basement of Samaz. Need to be somewhere at home. Whatever. But men are, they're men, so they get to go further. They're more accepted, and then they also are interracial group. They've got.
My point is, they people push their propaganda. Let's say that they push that. We don't push that. I'm calling out everybody that's on watching this, and everybody's gonna watch it later. What you gonna do in the long run? I'm pretty sure I'm gonna watch it. We actually donations. We got to pay bills. How many donations we gonna get? You know what I'm saying? Ockz, I want you to talk about. I want you to jump into your who gonna help sponsor the program. Who gonna push it? Who gonna tag? Who gonna tag it? A very important person that they know, right? Who gonna tag a very important person they know and say, okay, I need to listen to this, right? Who gonna Ockz got a humongous movement going on that I know of. We've been part of movement. I know how movement go. I know how getting money with your mans go. You know what I'm saying? People who got money together, they know how to move and understand how that's love for each other, right? You know what I'm saying? I don't make a lot of, you know what I'm saying? A lot of cats I don't know how to make money with. They don't know how to make money together, right? So,
well, I think this what I'm gonna say. You gotta keep this thing going with your people. Like, I'm about to hook up with the sister Malika so she can produce something for me because she produced stuff, right? Whoever's doing something, go get with them because we all doing something and we should all do it together. You see what I'm saying? So it ain't even got to be about us having this big movement together. It all starts with us just patronizing each other. I mess with you. Let's trade. It don't even got to be a trading of money. Look, you do this for me, I'll do this for you. So we all need, right? We all need things, and we all need each other's expertise.
And that's prophetic.
We work with each other and dedicate to doing that. Then you can see a movement grow. Because just because I got a clothing line and you got a clothing line and he got a clothing line, don't mean we can't wear each other's clothing line, right? Exactly. And just because MissUndastood is a hijabi rapper and there's another hijabi rapper or another hijabi rapper, don't mean that they all can't coexist because, you know, everybody bar is not going to be the same, right? It's room for everybody to eat. Just because Malika's producing a movie and another sister's producing a movie don't mean that they can't hook up on an idea and produce something together. Now that don't mean that they gotta make some blood pact with each other like we gang, right? But listen, we just gonna do our thing together. You see what I'm saying? If I need bars from a female, let me get it from the sister. You see what I'm saying? So that's just everybody, if they work together, and then you start to see movements build. You see what I'm saying? So like when certain acts come from different towns and they come to my areas, I make sure I lay out the red carpet. That don't mean that, you know, we got this big pact. It ends up turning out to be that way because of the genuine love that grows from just being genuine. Because at the end of the day, we Muslim, we Black, and we from the hood. And that's all I got to say. I love y'all, man.
I love you, man. But I want to close it out. I want y'all to shout out y'all projects closely. Go normally around this time we got the good word with the good doc, but he again make dua for him. He's recovering from COVID. Inshallah, he'll be back soon with us. But he bouncing back. Alhamdulillah, he back healthy and he moving. So I want y'all to shout out y'all what y'all got going on, closing out, and we can end. We're gonna talk a little bit about. I want y'all to just shout y'all out. Also, want you people to know where you where they can find all that stuff that you got going on, all these shirts. This boy right here, this is my favorite joint. Favorite. So everybody, so get out of there. I rock this joint all the time. It's my dude. He just not better than somebody that we're not about to get into right now. But time. You know what I'm saying? So go ahead and talk about your clothing line and short.
So I got the Aki Montega album coming out after Ramadan, inshallah. I got the clothing line, Art Imitating Ockz, which has a few different brands under it. My Halal Chinese food brand, my Aki Montega brand, and my Paradise Sports brand. People are surprised that I kind of attacked the clothing lane the way I did. But I had these opportunities kind of waiting for me, and I didn't want to mess them up by using them when I wasn't ready. So now that I'm, back in position and ready to move them, I'm trying to move it out. And our goal is to bring you the fly that you want, right? Because I feel like a lot of brands, a lot of Muslim brands, they'll just put an Islamic word on something and then want you to buy it, right? So we really styling these joints. Like, you can check out this NY Ockz joint. These joints is like art, man. These joints, full imagery. Like, we putting a lot into everything we're doing so that we can bring you the craftsmanship that you really want when you coming from our environment, because we want to compete. When I step outside and I see dude got his stuff on, yeah, he got to see me too. So we want to provide that for the people, and we want to also just, show our culture in a way that people never saw it, because us as Black Muslims in this country have affected every part of this culture. Period.
We are the culture, man.
We are the culture. Yep. And so check us out, artimitatingockz.com. Follow me on Instagram, OCKZ. You can come in my DM if you see some stuff you like. You're gonna see us in stores in your city. You also gonna see us opening up some stores in a few different cities: Baltimore, Detroit, and then hopefully New York City. I'm working with a few different Muslim artists. I'm actually working with MissUndastood, executive producing her project. I'm working with Do Gotti out of Detroit, the Halal Over Haram little brothers. They holding it down. I'm working with them. Working with John Doe in Atlanta. So we executive producing work. We got the MDF projects coming out. It's a lot of stuff coming for the Muslims. I hope y'all enjoy what we trying to do. I hope to hook up with Sister Malika so she can help me produce some fly visuals because I want these people to see this the right way. And look out for MissUndastood because she not playing. And we listen, trust me, we go at it, but we go at it about these bars. Like when you hear her new stuff, y'all gonna be like, oh my God. Because that's how hard we coming. So, no, somebody got her back.
We got your back, sis. Go ahead, MissUndastood.
Peace and love, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Good Vibes, Good Brothers podcast. Thank you all for having me. Shout out to Malika. Make sure y'all go and get y'all halal Chinese merch from Ockz. You gotta follow me on my YouTube, MissUndastood, spelled MissUndastood for all videos and freestyles. You know, I constantly try to keep lyrically fit by writing my freestyles and stuff like that. I got a new one out, the Whoopty remix. I'm outside with the Ockz. I'm outside with the Ockz. Brother trying to come for my cookies. Then I had to put the little Derek Jackson line in. You know how that goes. But even though, and it's weird, that goes to show you, like with rap, sometimes you put things together just because it sound good. Because my best Girl Scout cookie is actually the Samoas. It's not the thin. But I felt like when I was doing the rap, it probably wasn't going to flow the same. So I had the thin mix. But anyway, so yeah, new freestyles. My As Real As They Come video is out. It's on my YouTube. My Best Names, which is one of the best, I guess, flips of Allah's names that I guess ever been done. That's out. Look for the short film Tabasha's Story coming soon. So y'all can look out for that. And then after Ramadan, I got a record coming out for women empowerment. And you know, I do this for the women. I got love for the men. Don't get it twisted. I got love for the men. I have a dad. I have two brothers, you know, black men, you know, who I love dearly and stuff. But I just feel like, you know, it's a male-dominated industry, and the men are always holding the men down. So I just felt like it's my job, my responsibility more to advocate for women, to talk about women issues, to, you know, be the voice for them and have their back. But I will start trying to put together some material, you know, for the brothers to show love songs or whatever, to show them, you know, we got love for them too. You know, we need each other, you know. The men, the black men can't turn their backs on the black woman. And the black woman shouldn't turn their backs on the black man. Each one needs to support each other, because right now, in the way that is going, you know, nobody's safe. It used to be that we were safe, but you can tell from Breonna Taylor, Sandra Bland, and other situations that even a black woman is not safe anymore. So that's why we really need each other more than ever. So it'd be great if we could, you know, all get on that one accord and really, start loving each other more the way that we, you know, that we should. And yeah, so follow me on Instagram, MissUndastoodNYC. You know, I try my best to post. Ramadan Mubarak to all the Muslims. I hope you all have a blessed month. I hope your du'as are answered. I'm hoping some of my du'as are answered. I'm, you know, really hoping to be progressive moving forward. You know, I'm really hoping to, you know, bring some more fire. I'm hoping to make some more history, you know, because I got to be able to top my Vogue. Me and you know, and that's hard. It's hard to top Netflix. It's hard to top Vogue Arabia, but you know, I'm grateful, even though, at times I show ingratitude, to people or to Allah, but I am grateful. I've been hustling for a long time. I've been doing this for a long time, and if I didn't open a window for these other sisters, if I didn't open the door for these other sisters, I opened a window. And I'm really big on respect. So I just want to be respected for that, because I had to go through a lot for them to be able to come in and really, be able to do their thing. I grew up in an era where people would say I was hip hop in my way to the hellfire. They come put little comments on my YouTube videos. People would send their kids to the stage when I'm performing to tell me to shut up. So I went through a lot so that people can now rap and be cute, in a video. So I need to be saluted and respected for that. And that's it. And I said what I said.
I said what I said.
Hey,
You guys, yeah, what up?
got these. Listen, tell all your people. I got the fasting Muslim shirts for Ramadan. If they come in my DM and they put good brothers, I give them 20% off.
My man.
Everybody love a deal. Everybody love a deal.
Commission.
Look, if you grew up in the hood, you like halal Chinese food. Why? Because you liked regular Mr. Chan, when you didn't know if the chicken was fat and if the beef was dog. You didn't know if you had cat fried rice. You liked it then.
You know where it came from.
You know where it came from.
You should like it from Mr. Brother Chan, halal Chinese food. I know I like some General.
Right on the corner.
I like some General. Some orange chicken. And to be honest, I don't know what's happening, but they are starting to close more of them, because the one on the block of Taco closed. They built the Popeyes.
They built the one on 4th closed too.
And then they closed one in East Harlem that they had on 2nd Avenue. So I don't know what, and they built one that got the pork. So I don't know what is happening. I just know I was so sad. I don't know what's happening with our establishments. And that's why we got to support them. Because if you don't support the establishments, we won't have them. And then we go looking for it, wonder why we can't find halal meat, why we can't eat of the good things. And it's really because we didn't support those establishments. They got rent to pay. The rent is going up. But we still got to go by and show them love. And, hey, put them orders in. Hey, you probably didn't even need a shrimp fried rice. Order one today, just so that the halal Chinese food stores could.
Malika, you got anything short words you want to say before we leave out, before I close out?
I just want to first of all thank our guests for joining us today. Normally I'm in the back in the control room, so this might be the last time y'all see me up here, but thank you everyone for watching. I'm gonna plug myself. You can follow me on all the interwebs. Malika Creates, MALIKAH Creates. What do I have coming up? So inshallah, filming my short film Amethyst this summer. Myself and another filmmaker, Nia Malika Dixon, are actually putting together stock photos of Black Muslim women. So inshallah, those will be ready to go towards the end of the year.
Can I get a role in your film?
Right.
Talk to me later. We'll see. I'll see what I can do.
Because who's a better personality than me?
It's a short film, but maybe in the I have a series that I wrote that inshallah I'm trying to get funding for to shoot the pilot next year. So definitely got y'all on that one. I got y'all on that one. But someone asked about my shirt. You can see this is also my shirt that says Muslim, but it also has Ndinkra symbols in it, which are West African symbols that have different meanings. So just to kind of denote the Blackness within my Muslim, like they're like this. They're not separate. So you can check the link that's scrolling across your screen. In addition to getting you go get your halal Chinese food and your fasting Muslim shirt, then hop over to BalalAndExperience.myshopify.com and get your Ndinkra Muslim shirt. And make sure you're following Good Vibes with Good Brothers as well. Donate.
And you still doing your Balalian experience?
I am. It's on Instagram. I fell off a little bit because I just got a new job, so I'm reacclimating, and I had to get Malika straight. So some things just had to stop. But Balalian Experience is still going. It's on Instagram. Inshallah, I have some things planned for the fall with that as well.
Alhamdulillah. That right now we normally get the good verb, good doctor, but alhamdulillah, I'm very excited about this conversation. I hope it get out to the people that need to hear it again. I love y'all, man. Y'all know that for real. When I say it, I don't say it to sound corny. I don't say it just, you know what I'm saying, just because that's what certain movies like to say. I love you for the sake of Allah. No, I love y'all for real. And I appreciate y'all art. You know what I'm saying? And some of us got history together, you know what I'm saying, good or bad, and some of us don't, but we building history together, inshallah. And this is part of our history. So when the youngins see this, they gonna know that there was some people out here holding us down. You know what I'm saying? And I'm saying that because we need this type of love. Anybody who ever been a good excuse me, a guest on Good Vibes with the Good Brothers, they know this is the type of experience that is common on the show, right? It's an open experience, it's a lively experience, it's a love experience, it's a comfortable experience. You can be yourself. And so when we talk about that, we dig into real topics and real things that affect our hearts. You know what I'm saying? That's dear to us. And this deen is dear to us. Our art is dear to us. Our politics is dear to us. The way we view each other is dear to us, and we really have to instill that. So again, I applaud my man Ockz, man, for all the stuff that he doing. You know what I'm saying? I know I love he know how much I love him. I've been my brother since day one. You know what I'm saying? And we seen a lot of things in this world, survived a lot of things, and to see the success of my brother winning the way he winning, motivating me. You know what I'm saying? And when I talk about the art, anybody know me the people who done music with me? I've been doing music for 20 some years. Anybody who know me know I don't show underappreciated for the art. Everybody not the best rapper, but you gotta have a good ear. You gotta know how to produce. I'm not promoting nobody who don't produce their music. Don't give me no music with no beats that sound like Switz made it on a whack keyboard. You know what I'm saying? Give me something. I'm saying that. Say that. Utilize your pilots. Like you got a network. Trust somebody else to give a good impact on a feedback on what you're doing too. Like you gotta have a good ear, man. And alhamdulillah for my man Ockz, man, he know the music he putting out is for us. People like us, the Ockz like us.
Alhamdulillah, man. I appreciate that.
And MissUndastood, she putting out music for sisters like her. But they not underestimating the value of a good ear. You know what I'm saying? And the value of good production, good visuals, structure, sequencing, mixing, arrangements. That's what you're supposed to do when you're making music. You know what I'm saying? It's art and it's a business, and it's also something that you want people to remember. You don't want nobody to hear nothing where it sounds like something an instrument is missing, or so your vocals is off. That's not giving credence to the art form. That's undervaluing yourself. But alhamdulillah, man, and I say that even from the production of Good Vibes, Good Brothers, anybody that know me, I don't like to do anything that's not impressive to myself first and foremost. From production standpoint, anything. So alhamdulillah, man, Ockz, you got me motivated. MissUndastood, you got me motivated. I ain't been in the studio in 10 years. And I ain't, you know what I'm saying? But I'm about to go gear up my little nephew and get my ear and get holler my homeboys. Some of these big producers I used to work with, these platinum producers, call them up, throw them up. You know what I'm saying?
I owe you a feature too.
You already know it. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about these now, but I love this, man, and I hope that people that understand that when I do things, I do it genuinely out of love. So shout out to Muhammad Ahmed who donated the Good Vibes, the Good Brothers. Donate, man. Help us out. If you got a business, use our platform to get your business out there. You know what I'm saying? Email us at www. How am I saying that? Email us at goodvibesgoodbrother@gmail.com. Donate. Shout to all your donations. Ramadan, you helping us out. The donations go directly to the programming. And that's it, man. So on that note, I appreciate y'all. Another dope one in Malika in the books. All we do is win, and these conversations are gonna be consistent, and they're gonna stay being dope. And again, to the people out there, support your people. Don't just talk about it, be about it. Don't just talk about it, be about it. Don't just talk about it, be about it. Go buy my man's shirts. Go download Sister Music if you feeling it, because I know y'all is. You know what I'm saying? Download if you're a cat who can relate to what my man talking about. You better be on the forefront of halal Chinese food movement. You know what I'm saying? If you're a person who can't really handle street music, again, it's other avenues that you can go in. You know what I'm saying? There's other avenues because we're gonna keep all the way raw with this. So again, shout out to Malika for holding us down. Shout out to my man Dr. Halim who's recovering. He gonna bounce back, and we're gonna bounce back with something beautiful again. So on that note, Ockz can close out with a Fatiha, inshallah.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين
Ameen.
Man. See y'all soon. Support the movement, Sloan Lake Rock.
Assalamu alaikum.